Hi, good evening.
Hi.
You speak very passionately about what you do. And like Manish said, that probably he can go on, and I'm sure you can go on and on.
Yeah.
What makes you so passionate about this, and what's your driving force?
Okay. So, space is something I think that excites a child and a seasoned scientist in the same way. So I think the very fact that we are working for a space organization makes us passionate. I think most of people in ISRO will be passionate about their work. Because space is something that excites everyone.
Hi, ma'am. Such a privilege to be in your presence. I've personally seen you on launches and especially the one that was done recently, Chandrayaan 3. I remember the camera panned to you very first when they announced it had landed. So very proud moment. You spoke about space debris. You spoke about somebody like a private player like SpaceX launching 42 satellites.
42,000
42,000
actually.
satellites,
Yeah.
sorry. So ultimately, while the whole diameter is very wide, ultimately it's a limited real estate. So how do you get to decide that who gets to launch a satellite? Where can they position this? Because eventually, I guess at a global level, there has to be some agreement as to who
Yeah.
can go where.
Right, absolutely. No, you're absolutely right, and your questions are very pertinent and very, very relevant today. So there are a lot of organizations now, agencies have come together and they are holding meetings. There's like International Agency for Debris Management, wherein, and there's one on space weather. So they meet up every 3 months, 6 months, and but they've not been successful in having a regulatory body. They've made a lot of rules, but nobody would really want to follow them. And like you said, space has no borders. Anybody can launch, and once you put a satellite in space, it'll go all around, right? There's no such regulation as of now. But people have come up with a lot of ideas, but I don't think there's any consensus right now amongst the agencies. But then uh, people are showing their responsibility or obligation towards these organizations by following the at least the re-entry part. Like many of the agencies, they take pride. At least ISRO takes pride when they say that we deorbited a satellite, a defunct satellite, something that's not going to be useful before it really becomes useless and doesn't accept a command from us. At that stage, try to bring it down. So we've done that for a couple of our satellites wherein we had this provision, but I think most countries are going to do it now.
Uh, thanks for enlightening us about your journey and a lot of other things. Now, my question here is that India, where we have seen it has started the journey till where we have reached, where we feel proudly interacting with a lot of other people by saying that yes, we are Indian. Uh, my question is like. USA, they have close to 38 or 40 GPS satellites. Beidou is there. Uh, I can't recollect the rest of the names. India has started, they recently launched, I believe, the seventh satellite.
Navik, yeah.
Yeah, Navik. So, are we going to stop the journey with just 7 satellites? Because the coverage compared to US Army versus Indian
Yeah.
Army, so what's the
That's again an extremely good question. So this is what we also keep asking. So what the difference between what the Americans or the BDU or the Iridium, all these, and what we've done is we are a regional navigation system. So because we have 7 satellites, we place them in geostationary orbits, and they'll all those 7 will always look around India and 1,500 kilometers around India. So that is all is our coverage. So if you go beyond that, you don't get signals from our satellites. But GPS, GLONASS, they're all global navigation system providers. So, but it obviously costs lots of money to have. If you have to have a global coverage, you need at least 32 satellites at any given point of time, because you need 4 satellites. You need to know your position, X, Y, Z, and time. So 4 unknowns, 4 equations. You need 4 satellites for that. So if you have to have 4 satellites, any person on the globe, if he has to know his position at any given point of time, at least he has to see 4 satellites. For that, you need 32 satellites all around. So it's again a question of whether you want to do global coverage, you want to provide global service and be the leaders for navigation across countries, or you want to do it only for your country and meet not only your country's need, more importantly, the strategic need. So you cannot depend on GPS for your strategic user, right? So you need to have navigation is extremely important. So that's why the Navic came up, and Navic is doing its job today for our country. In fact, iPhone 15, I heard they are now having a chip to detect the Navic signals. So that also came into the news, and I also heard that like the government is trying to, I think by next year they will enforce all the mobile operators to insert the Navic chip. So and one of the companies, Accord, I think, is from Bangalore, is trying to get the chip manufactured. So it is in a way becoming commercial. It was earlier, Navic was used only by ISRO, for ISRO satellite and for the government. Now it will be used by the commercial agencies. But like you said, if you want to go global, you have to have many more satellites. That's again in the pipeline. Those again need sanction.
Well, it goes to the next person. Given that you spoke about cost, it costs
Yeah.
a lot, right? But ISRO is also known for the frugal innovation.
Yeah.
Remember the figure floating around 74 million versus what it cost to make the movie Martian, which was $100 million. So how does ISRO do this? What are the processes, culture? So what does it take?
Now what's happening is, I can say that at least 95% of what goes into the satellite is indigenous. We don't buy. So if you are not buying, the cost comes down automatically. So what we are really buying is those chips, the electronics. We don't have the foundries here. So that's one of the things, because we're doing most of the things on our own, the cost automatically comes down.
Back to the audience.
Good evening, ma'am. Thanks for being here. I have one question. Like you said, you will be learning from the mistakes of other organizations like NASA, other countries. So I am just getting this doubt that how do you get that kind of information from other organizations?
So yeah, I mean, like especially after the Chandrayaan, in fact after the Mangalyaan, other organizations, they do want to collaborate with us. We do share information, and not everything, but quite a bit of it. A lot of literature is also available on what has happened to the other mission, at least whatever is there in public domain. And apart from what we get, the literature that is there in the public domain, we also had couple of meetings and dialogue with other organizations too. So it's a lot of give and take and mutual exchange of information that happens at a friendly level, especially for the science missions. Yeah, I have seen all the Star Wars series, and Carl Sagan also said, like, someday man is going to inhabit all these planets, because of course we're going to run out of resources here. So but I think there's some kind of eventually there's some element of not, I don't say truth, but reality over years, that you will realize that okay, whoever wrote it as a fiction is now actually coming true. So yeah, I think movies are the starting point then.
Hello. Hi, good evening, ma'am. I mean, you tell really good stories. And my question, I mean, feel free to disregard, because I have just been a science fiction, everyone, I guess. Do you believe in UFOs and aliens?
No. So I think this is one question that is unanswered. Is there a twin for the Earth? Is there a twin for Indegene somewhere? Is there a conference like this going on somewhere? Is there someone asking this question somewhere? Yeah, we don't know. We don't know. I mean, there's something that everybody is looking for. I mean, these are answers which all space agencies are hunting.
One trivial question and one relevant. Firstly, a pleasure having you here. The trivial question is Star Trek or Star Wars?
Star Trek, that's childhood memory for me.
Spock, Leonard Nimoy
Spock.
or Zachary Quinto?
I think Spock.
Okay. So coming to the relevant question, as a budding project manager and you having handled so many complex projects, do you have any tips for us? We'd like to hear from you.
Yeah. I think project management is one important component. Though we are so technical and we've talked so much technical, but eventually I think it's interpersonal relationships and managing people is also a big challenge.
I can imagine.
It's, next to rocket science actually. So to keep everyone motivated, to keep everyone happy all the time, it's a difficult task. But I would say that that way we are lucky at ISRO because we have the best brains. All the people who join are really well qualified and like brilliant people who come through high level of competition. So it's not very difficult. They're already motivated. The other thing is what I would say is some level of maybe some level of empathy, connect with people. One example I can give you is that if we are doing a project and somebody who is a lot younger to me, maybe 25 years younger to me, is doing something, I don't mind going and sitting next to him, seeing his code and giving him tips. He doesn't have to come through this 4 level of bosses between him and me. So this is something we all do at ISRO. Probably it works, but I'm not sure. This is one thing that we all follow.
Actually, Nandini, I think, I know we have a hard stop at 6, but very early on answered some of those things. You spoke about thinking about what all can fail, having mechanisms to deal with those modes of failures. I think those are great inputs, right, about thinking about risk and mitigation.
Yeah, I know. I mean, especially for satellites, one thing about the satellites is that because they're expensive and once you launch them, you can't do much. So we build a lot of redundancies. Then not only redundancies, even in our operations plan, there's plan A, plan B, plan C, maybe sometimes plan up to Z. So there are, we have always something to fall back on. There's never a scenario when we say, okay, we give up. Okay, this doesn't work. So.
Okay.
You had
I have some questions from the online viewers.
Oh, okay. So we can go on for some more time?
Yeah.
Are you okay with
fine with me. Like, we can continue for another 5-10 minutes. Yeah.
5 minutes. Okay.
So first one from my side before I'll go online, right? So Nandini, how do you unwind, right? You talked about complex mission, tough deadlines. How do you unwind in your personal time?
Unwind, yeah. I watch some silly comedy movies with my daughter. At the end of the day, she'll be waiting, for me to get back home. She also gets back home and we watch some stuff on Netflix.
Okay. We have a question. Somebody's asking, if not a space scientist, what you would have been?
Oh, it's difficult to answer. Yeah. I don't know. Hard to imagine, Saurabh.
You have few doctors in your family now.
Oh, yeah, we have few doctors. I don't think I would have been a doctor. It's a difficult profession, actually, I must say. I really respect all of you. I don't know how you studied all those big books. I've seen all of you these guys used to have fun most of the time, and during exam time, read these big books. I don't know how they managed. Yeah.
So we all heard about Prime Minister said that we will be sending man to the moon.
Yeah.
But is it practical to send men to the Mars, or any country is planning to send men to the Mars, and is it practical? Or it's possible, or it's going to be happening in next 10, 15 years?
It'll happen. There will be, I think, if you see NASA's roadmap, there is a mission, a manned mission to Mars. And of course, we've had so many Apollos, right? Like they've sent it, and the people have gone to moon in 1969. So it's not an impossible thing. It's just about funding, and technology is there. I'm sure it's there. It's all about using it for this purpose. Yeah.
Okay. Now, one more question is about Mission Mangal.
Yeah.
How close was that to the
my
reality?
God.
No, everybody has seen Vidya Balan, and everybody thinks Vidya Balan role was inspired from you.
The movie was totally fictional. And the characters were too. Actually, the director came to our office and he met all of us, and then he found our life so uninteresting. So I'm sure nobody would have watched it the way we, if we had projected the way we live. But then I think what he got right was the spirit. He got the spirit of the mission perfectly right, and the way he projected it, it was amazing. I myself enjoyed the movie. Yeah.
That's all.
So forget the science and the brains behind, but the spirit was fantastic.
Thanks.
Thank you so much.
We have some more.
One more question? Sure.
Last one for sure. So, great honor having you here.
Thank you.
This is very specific to Indegene. We always say, we always remembered for our last project, and I hear everyone asking you about your last project. But I also know that before the last project, there are several others. And in your case, you said that the rate of failure is pretty high because you have to keep trying. What are some philosophical lessons that you have learned over your years of experience when dealing with failure and, getting your team together to again go on the next mission? What have you done?
No, failures are important actually. Failures keep you grounded, and failures make you learn. Like I'll tell you for Chandrayaan, Chandrayaan 2, after it failed, the reason was a very small mistake that had happened in the software. We missed it by a whisker, I could say, the landing in Chandrayaan 2. But the failure itself made us look into the whole mission so very well. Like we found so many places where we improved. And so it's not just about getting Chandrayaan 3 right or, So in order to have missions like a man to moon or so, all this helped because it helped us to look into the data more rigorously. Every bit of data was analyzed. Few hundred reviews happened. So I think failures are important. Failures are extremely important. Like I said yesterday, failures are a part of the bigger success always.
Thank you so much.
Nandini, thank you so much for being with us. Once again, it is your passion, right? Excitement is so palpable.
Thank you so
after
much
all these,
for having me.
Years. It's infectious, by the way. It's amazing.
And thank you for being such a nice audience and asking so many questions. I really enjoyed talking to you.
No, it is a pleasure a privilege having you over here.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Small token from us.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.